What's going on, everybody? It's Coffee in the Morning with your boy Don Illuminati. Back with another video. So today what I wanted to speak about is we be seeming to have a lot of distractions that's going on in the midst of this season, right? And sometimes it can feel like that it's taking your time away from the Lord. And I wanted to let you know that I read a scripture yesterday that says something about if you continue to stay committed to the work of God, that He'll give you the words, He'll give you, the activity that you need to perform the missions and the tasks that you need to do, right? And because we've been so distracted, we've been filled up with a lot of responsibilities in this life. This system of Babylon, man, it just keeps us moving. I had to speak to the Lord yesterday, and I told him, and I was telling him, I was like, Lord, like, I feel like I'm moving too much, right? And He allowed me to see it to where sometimes we just got to take it easy. Sometimes we be putting on more on ourselves more than we need to. So today, I didn't go to the gym. I skipped out on making breakfast. And that bought me an extra 3 hours. So what I did was I slept in just a little bit more. But another thing is, sometimes we have these periods of time where we feel like we don't hear the Lord's voice. And sometimes that could cause us to be worrisome. Sometimes that could make us feel unsure about ourselves, unsure about life, and sometimes unsure about the Most High. Like, are we still on your good side? Like, did I do something wrong? Or sometimes you might even feel, just give me 1 second. Just 1 second, I gotta pay this toll.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
Have a good one. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is gonna come with the progress. And it's, there we go. Yeah, sometimes it'll make us unsure about the Most High even. And, that's why yesterday I was praying to God, and I was just like, look, I was trying to be 1,000 with the Lord and telling Him how I feel, because sometimes what if, I was just thinking, because a lot of people say the Lord knows your heart, the Lord knows your heart. Maybe He does. But then sometimes it's like, you got to give it this, what if He doesn't? What is the reason that we got to pray in the first place? Because I feel like he wants to know what's on your heart. Or He wants to know if you're finally going to be verbal about it. Now, I want to tell you about something about being stuck in these hard times and how to get out of it, right? And I go back to a point where when I was in college, and I was one of the people who, look, I'm going to use the tutoring lab, right? If there's any help out there and I'm trying to do something, and you telling me there's a source that I can get help from, dog, I'm going to use that up to the max. Right? But the special thing about the people that was in the tutoring lab, what they taught me, and this is a big thing about life, is to don't get stuck in the midst of the problem. They said, just keep going. I'm one of them people that I feel like I gotta conquer every single solution and every single problem. I gotta conquer, not the solution, but I gotta conquer every single problem with a solution. But you're not gonna do that. Sometimes it's going to take you to move forward to then revert back to that problem or that issue, and it'd be much easier to take care of. And you sitting there like, well, wow, how did I do that? Because think about it, in math, right? It's built upon steps. And then it's like, you'll wonder why they're telling you to push forward to the next formula or the next problem that you got to deal, right? And you may not feel like you're going to be able to do that because you wasn't able to complete the last one. But see, they know something you don't know. They know that if you get stuck on that problem, constantly trying to fix it, somewhere there, your mind's just not getting it right now. And if it's not, it's better to just move on to the next issue or circumstance or whatever, than to allow that's in the midst to discourage you. Once you just get discouraged, the next 50 problems, it's going to be that much harder for you. So they encourage you to move to the next thing. So what I did was I allowed that to be me changing my routine system for just some time, right? Maybe I'll get back to it. I'll get back in the gym in the morning before I go to work and stuff like that. But for the last 2 weeks, it's caused me to push myself so much that last Saturday, I became mentally exhausted, spiritually exhausted, and physically exhausted due to the gym, due to me not being able to do as much work as I want to do, for the Lord. And sometimes I feel like we have to allow His Spirit to be manifested in us to do that work. And just like I said, when I read that scripture in the Bible, I can't remember where it was, but it was something 13:6, but I can't remember at the moment, but I'll be able to pull that back up later. Another thing is, sometimes God has been orchestrating us, right? He's been orchestrating us like pieces on the chessboard. And sometimes He's molded you to be a certain piece that He's going to use when it's His time to use you. Because I was talking to my homie yesterday, right? And I was like, man, I need God to be there every day. I need to hear His voice every day. Even I told him last night, I'm like, Lord, like I just want to hear from you every day, even if it's good morning, son. That'll help me in my day. But what if we don't hear that? And that's time when it's time for Bible study. You feel me? But my boy was like, yo, God, He ain't gonna work like that. He work when He wanna work. I'm like, yeah, but I feel like I just need to hear His voice every single day. And some of those days is the days where you might feel like you're going through a lot and you've been praying and you're watching everybody else. They look like they seem to be living up life. And just what if they are? Because a lot of us like to say, these sinners or these demons, quote unquote, right? These people out here, we like to take that away from them, because regardless if they're walking for the Most High or they're walking in sin, we can't say if they actually enjoying their life, because when we look at them, we're like, man, they really seem to be enjoying their life. And that's probably because they really is. Whether they're going to hell or not, they still enjoying this life, right? Let's not take it away from them and say they're not getting no sleep at night and all this, that, and the other. They is getting sleep at night. But then the same thing, they might look at us and say, man, they really seem to be going through it. And we do be. But the Bible also says to suffer for His sake, right? But there's another thing in there. And I want to get back to the pieces on the board. I feel like the reason why He allows us to go through so much is because He's shaping us to be more than a pawn on His chessboard. And if you stay on board, if you stay committed to the work, like it said, that He'll fill you in with the manifestation. So if you start trying to move on your own, you could become a pawn. Because see, the Lord is the orchestration of this game, of His chessboard, right? He's the one that gets to shape and move the pieces. So you know what happens to the pawns, right? If you're trying to move at a time when it ain't time for you to move, then you're moving like a pawn. Or you could sit through like, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego through the fire, where He's allowing you to store up this potential, store up all these gifts, store up all these things, so you can become that solid piece. Because you notice when the chess game is going, right? The game don't really get turned up until you start moving them big pieces. Because what if He called you to be a bishop? He didn't call you to be a pawn. Things ain't really get turned up yet. When He start turning up, then that's when He's gonna use you in the value that He made you, and then you'll be on that board whipping things into shape, because He's created us for the win. You feel me? So if you feel like you're losing right now because you're not moving and you're watching all these other people move and this, that, and the third, listen, the Bible did say the first shall be last and the last shall be first. We're not going to sit there and put that with everything, but just what if that is the case, right? When those pawns are moving, there's a time for everybody to move on the board. And remember, when the queen come out, that's almost, a lot of people like to use the queen quickly. But sometimes you got to protect the queen as well, because that's one of the biggest pieces on the board, other than the king, right? They're like one of the last pieces you're going to move. So if he called you to be one of those bigger pieces, but you're sitting there and you're wondering why the Lord ain't using you the way he is, why he not using you yet, right? Well, maybe you're not on the board. Maybe you're not staying on the board. And if you are, you'll notice that he's still molding you because of everything that you're going through, right? I also have a testimony. And I did a video that's called Paranormal Activity, right? And I think it's pretty good. I didn't drop it yet, but that's because I was doing a little bit of editing, stuff like that. You know how I get with the Clone the Clip channel, whatever. So I got a real little trick in there for you. But I want you to check that video out. It's called Paranormal Activity. And what it's about is, it's about the days when I wasn't really living for the Most High, right? It's the times when I was out there selling drugs, robbing people, hanging out with people that I wasn't supposed to be hanging out with, you know, showing up at the club literally every single weekend, sometimes twice in a weekend, you know, and I'm doing all these things. I don't want you to beat yourself up too much because of your past, right? And this is mind-boggling sometimes when we try to feel like we're supposed to be somebody else at this point, right? But I want to let you know that God has utilized those things to make you who you are today. And I've been through things where I literally saw demons. I used to be, I have a gift, so he was allowing me to see those things, you know, and I explain more about that in that video, but I'm not going to talk too much about that at this time. But I feel like it's things like that that has gotten us really prepared for the spiritual part of the battle, okay? And I really believe that those are real testimonies, and it's time to speak about those things, because we're not getting ready to sit around here and walk around like we're perfect when we was all born in Babylon, right? I've been here for so many decades or whatever, and sometimes I look at it like Lord, why is it that I gotta suffer this curse that happened hundreds of years before I got here, and now I'm still suffering the same pains that, you know, our community's been through. So when we were young, you can call it youthful indiscretion, or you can call it whatever you want, but we wasn't really molded and structured the way we were supposed to be because of that. Had we been in that godly community, in that Israelite community, we probably would be different. So you don't think that he understands those things? You don't think that the Most High, if you trust him like that, you know he's going to utilize the bad for his good? You see what I'm saying? He's going to use it to his purpose. And for certain people, I feel like that's what we're sitting there and we're waiting on that, because it seems like we're playing against many different things, for me, including the algorithms. But I'll never let that be the thing to distract me from continuously doing the work, because it doesn't matter how many people see it. When you're doing the work, you're doing the work. That's if I was out here on the side of the road. God gave me a job to do, right? He wanted me to shovel up all this snow out here. My job is to shovel the snow. My job ain't to wonder and worry about how many people watching me shovel the snow. He might be having me shoveling that snow just for the exercise to start shoveling rocks through the next season. And by the time I get to that season, there's a lot of people that might be like, man, you ain't gonna be able to do that. Then I get into there and I'm starting to throw these rocks all over the place. And you're like, yeah, but you was just shoveling snow. That's a difference. Yeah, but do you know how long I was shoveling that snow? Did you know how much snow I was shoveling? Now we got rocks. Certain things that we think is gonna be the detriment of us, but at the end of the day, he used the snow to turn you into a rock. You feel me? So these things, it's like a small thing to a giant when it comes to how the Lord is going to operate in our lives. And sometimes we just got to give him that trust that he's still using us. He's still using you as long as you're still committed to the work. And that's what it said in the scriptures. I got to find that scripture, because I want to ride out with that one. I want that to be a part of my one of my speaking points when I talk about, you know, the manifestations of the Lord. Because not only will he manifest our spirit, but he will manifest the things in our life as well. But sometimes it's going to get us to changing the routine, right? Moving past that problem and to keep going. That was the most important thing that I'm telling you, one of the most important things that I ever heard in life versus certain quotes that I heard in the movies, like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Nobody knows. You don't even know how long it's going to take you to build the project. If God got you working on a project, it's his project. He got you working on it. You don't know when it's finished. You don't know when it's built, but you're still building it. In the midst of that, you're building up your spirit, your mental, your characteristics, your personality. You know, these are the things that the people will be able to see also. Just like Noah. It took him a while to build that ark. It took him a long time to build that ark. He wasn't just building that ark like, man, you know, I wish I could just build a smaller boat. That way I could just be finishing it. Nah, but what he built it for and why it took him so long was to be able to fulfill the whole purpose. They needed all those animals on that boat to be able to keep that part of the life going. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it was that God called him to do, he made sure that he did it. And no matter how long it took him, he finished it. Even though he didn't have many people. He had people that was watching him like, oh man, he building this for nothing. There ain't gonna be no storm. The same thing that a lot of people might say to me. He keeps getting up here talking about this war for nothing. There ain't gonna be no war. Bruh, I'm only doing what the Creator told me to do. We all got different tasks here. It ain't my responsibility to worry about what other people think about what the Lord told me and what my job is. So regardless of how much they believe, how much they watch, how much they help out and support, I still got to do the job that the Lord gave me because he gave it to me. You feel me? That might be their job from Satan to come by to deny everything you're doing just to discourage you. And when you see those things happening, that should just make you want to work just a little bit that much more. And it does for somebody like me, because, you know, I'll be damned to let these devils hold me back for what God has called me for my purpose. I'll be damned. Literally, you might be damned, because if you don't make the purpose that God got for you, then maybe there's another purpose that the devil has for you. And I'm pretty sure he got a plan for all of us, for the most part. And when he sees you not doing the work, he knows the manifestations ain't there. He know that you're getting ready to fall on a slippery slope. And it could be easy for you to be challenged, because even the Bible says that you will fall short of the glory of God daily. That gives him that little loophole sometimes to be able to get in and use you, utilize you, and turn you to a devil for a moment. And we can't play like we perfect, because sometimes those things happen. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. When I'm not walking in the spirit all the time, or say I might go out and I might have a drink and I might have a little too much. And I ain't no alcoholic, nothing. I barely even drink like that. But say if I go out and I have a little too much, when I knew that the Lord was putting it in my spirit to tell me, all right, this is the time you gotta relax a little bit. And I took it that step further. I do realize that there was always a situation that came behind that. And it always wasn't me. Sometimes he'll wait until you're in a certain predicament where he knows your spirit is broken down just that much. Then he'll utilize somebody else that could get you to fall into it that much quicker. That's why the Bible says to crucify your flesh daily. Because every day we're going to wake up these imperfect people. We was born in sin, and we still have a sinful nature about us. But the ones who keep their mind stayed on the Lord, he will keep you in perfect peace. And those are the things that I've been trying to practice. So I feel like one of the most important things is, you know, being though I feel like a lot of people are distracted right now and they don't feel like they're being utilized at their full potential, it's because he ain't used your full potential yet. He's still building a part of that potential. He's still shaping us into those pieces, those bishops, those horses and those rooks. And you queens out there, it's a time for us to move. It's a time and place for everything. And sometimes people will tell you, oh, well, maybe you're just not ready yet. No, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just that it's the timing. It's the timing of when the Lord wants to use you. You're going to sit there and tell the person who's moving them chess pieces, you're going to say, oh, maybe that horse ain't built for what he's supposed to do yet. No, that horse is already built for what he's supposed to do. That's why it's sitting on the board. But the reason why that horse ain't being moved yet is because it ain't time to move that horse. First of all, you got to get all the pawns out the way. And like I said, the game don't really start until you start moving those pieces. Because if you constantly seeing the pawns being moved and stuff like that, you know, you're in a, it almost feels like a stagnant position. It seems stagnant, but are you still working? Are you still on board? Are you still called to do the Lord's work? And somebody like me, I am. And I like I said, man, I prayed to God yesterday, and I tried to keep it 1,000 with him. And I was just like, I'm like, Lord, I feel like the routine already that life has given us with these responsibilities, you know, it's not giving me that much time to do the work for you. Maybe that this is your will, that I got to go through these things. And maybe there is a time that you're going to completely and fully utilize me to doing just that, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting sick of living this type of life, dog. It's almost starting to feel like slavery, man. It almost feels like, you know, you working so hard and then you really got nothing to show for it. But if you really look at everything that God bless you with, that's what you have. And that is what is to show for it. Sometimes I tell people these things because they don't really understand what we go through. They really don't. The first thing they're gonna say is, "Man, you got a nice house, and look at you. You got a good business, a big beautiful house, and nice cars. And what about all those things you got?" And we're talking about things versus, you see what I'm saying? We're talking about things versus sentimental value. It's like he hasn't brought us that sentimental value yet. We want to be used in a sentimental way, and we're sitting there completely depleted, deprived from these things. And it's like, yeah, that's cool and everything. And when I ask for certain things, they'll show up in my life. A lot of physical things, like when I ask for the Lord, I need this bill paid, or I need this camera, or I need this microphone, or I need this car, or I need whatever it is, a new roof on my house, dog. Crazy amount of blessings, bro. Crazy amount of blessings that I know that I wouldn't even, with my business and all that, people think that I'm the one that did it. I ain't do that. You know what I'm saying? My roof like $20,000. You think I paid for that? Nah. And I was able to get the roof that I wanted. Beautiful color. You know what I'm saying? It's like that burgundy red. It matched my shutters, my door, and all. And I'm thinking, you know, one day I didn't have it. The next day, I got it. Because it was something that literally just came like that. Did it make me happy? It did. He knows how to keep a smile on your face. He knows how to take care of you and just you. But sometimes when he's called you for greater purposes and greater tasks, and he's taking you to certain levels, a lot of times you're going to realize, damn, I'm alone through all this. And why? It's because those things ain't meant for anybody else. Forget everybody else. Sometimes it ain't meant for anybody else. Because what God has for you is for you. And sometimes it may come with a little bit of pain. It may come with a little bit of hurt, because you're like, well, dang, you know, you shower me with the gifts, you shower me with everything I want. But when it comes to those sentimental things, it's like really leaving me isolated, because you must feel that you start to let these people in your lives, and they would destroy everything you got. It would be the death of you. It'll be the death of all the blessings that God has bestowed upon you. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to keep trying to step on his toes to get those things. So a person like me I wait. And I always say, look, Lord, if it ain't meant, don't let it be. But if it is meant, then please, you orchestrate it, because I don't want no parts of this. I don't want to be the person that feel like I got to conquer every single solution anymore. Sometimes it is better to just move on to the next thing, because we'll get discouraged in those moments. And I know how important it is to just move on to the next thing, because now you have the endurance to take on this new equation. You'll have the endurance, more endurance for the new equation versus the last problem that had you stomped. So the moment you become stumped, just move forward. Just keep moving. And that was one of the important lessons I learned. The field of dreams If you build it, they will come. And what are you building? What is God building? Are you realizing that? Do you realize that he's building you to be something? If he's building you for something, then he's building you to be a utensil, something that he's going to be able to use one day. So we got to know this ain't over yet. If you're going through so much right now, it's not just to take us away from here and just to be there. No, he's putting certain people through certain things. You know, they say it takes pressure to make diamonds. It takes a lot of hot fire and to make metal swords, stuff like that, real sharp items. Do you understand what it takes? Iron sharpens iron. It takes those things. And every day that we feel like we're being scuffed up just that much more, we're actually getting that much more sharp. And sometimes it does feel like you're being beat down. Because if you hold that metal in the fire too long, it'll start to melt. It'll melt. But the moment you pull it out of that fire, it becomes a shiny, sharp object that will damn near destroy anything. But it's not that the longer you keep it in the fire, he needs you to be in the fire for some time, because it's a part of the molding process. It's a part of the molding process. And remember, mind you, you know how they make vases? That's the Lord molding us, right? He takes this clay, and he starts to mold us, and he's shaping us, and we feel all wobbly and bent out of shape the whole time. But what's the reason that we didn't fall back into a plop of clay? Because he still got his hands on us. If you ain't failed yet, it's because he still got his hands on you. And that's what I'm realizing. I'm really trying to turn this testimony into, you know, something that I feel like a lot of people is going through right now. And I'm utilizing certain things that I learned in the past to push that on to y'all, because maybe those things is important. Don't get stuck in those problems trying to find a solution. Move on to the next thing so that everything after that doesn't discourage you from here on out. So that's why I changed up my routine. I feel a heck of a lot better today, because I'm telling you, when I went ask for the Lord to speak to me, you know, he put it in my spirit today, like, don't even go to the gym today. What are you doing? Not today. What are you doing, right? Not only that, I said, sleep in a little longer. So I slept in a little longer. Woke up again. Said a little longer. I'm like, really? Do I even have the time? Yes, I did. I barely even wanted to go back to sleep. But still, there it was. I still had about 45 minutes that I could get. So I took a half hour of that, woke up, still had about 15 more minutes. And I just sat there thinking like, man, do I want to just take this last bit of rest, or should I start my body moving now? I'm like, look, I'm going to go ahead and start moving, because I'm not even tired. I don't feel like I did all those other days, because I had created a routine for myself to try to push myself that much further. Sometimes pushing ourselves can drive us over the edge a little bit. Or when it catches up to you, it can feel like it's breaking you. You know what I'm saying? So I squeezed out of that routine. I'm allowing the Most High to move me in certain ways, in certain directions, that I'll be able to have the endurance to keep going through whatever the situations is. Because so back like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was ago, 10 days, whatever, I was like, yeah, sometimes you got to push yourself, okay. But then now I'm coming with the part where it's like, all right, you got to take it easy sometimes. You feel me? Don't get jammed up and don't get caught up in that routine to where you forget, like, oh shoot, I need to have some rest for myself, because I don't know what's getting ready to happen in these next couple of days or even these next couple of weeks. And I may just need that endurance to push through those things. You see what I'm saying? I may need the physical mental space and the physical abilities to get through whatever it is that's getting ready to be on a plate. So sometimes it's good to push yourself, but then when you find out that you're doing it a little bit too much, it's also okay to just take it easy. You don't got to be strong through everything. You don't got to everything. Sometimes you need to sit back and relax and let life have its moments. It's to be that massaging process for you. Right now, I actually feel good. I feel good. I feel real good. And like I was saying, I feel like as far as what the Bible said, as far as if you stay committed to the work and you get up there and you do what needs to be done, God is going to utilize the rest. He'll give you the ambition. He'll give you the courage to say what needs to be said, do what needs to be done. And that's why I said I was watching Nick Jones' video the other day where he was just like, you know, he got on camera, and shout out to Nick Jones or whatever. I don't know if I did that already or whatever, but he was like, man, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? And it's crazy because the fact that he got up there and he just continued to do the work that he's called to do, that happened to be a 4.5 hour video, which he rarely ever does. So there's proof right there that shows, you know, when God's utilizing his people, he's going to give you the words to say. He's going to give you the activities to do what needs to be done, regardless. So I just encourage people to just keep going, push through whatever it is that you push through. You ain't gotta stop there. You ain't gotta stop there, because these things that happen to us, they're never meant for us to go through them forever. We don't have to endure pain our whole entire life. Sometimes we just gotta sit back and know how to treat ourselves. Sometimes it may take you having to call off a day of work. You're not supposed to be worrying about the money aspect of it. I don't be worrying about that. I'm one of the people who know God's gonna come through, because he's been doing that for me. He's been making more money for me than I have. I can't lie to you. I'm telling you, in the last couple of years, man, I'm talking about, I can calculate about $60,000 that I know that I wouldn't have been able to make. That's bought me things, got me things that I needed for my house, for me, for the project. Dog, I wouldn't have made that extra money. I'm telling you right now. And I'm telling you right now, I didn't pay for any of it. Feel me? I'm just letting you know. It's like you could say I did, but I didn't, because there's all the things in the process that he had me already doing that was able to incentivize my incentives. You don't even know the incentives that comes behind everything you already did. God will start showing you those things. And I'm like, dog, I ain't worrying about when it comes to this, that, and the third. I know if my pockets ever get low, all I gotta be thankful for is that I got another day to breathe. I got a roof over my head, and that he's feeding me. And even if he does do it from day to day, you're gonna realize you're gonna work day to day. But guess what? Whether you had money or you didn't have money, you still gotta go to work. You still got these responsibilities. So all you gotta do is, like we say here, it's a big motto here, we just gotta keep working. It is. Because we work on cars, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And we run across problems all the time. And sometimes, see, with the shop here, we can't just, well, we could put it off a day and get back to it another day. Just like last night when we were working on something. And, you know, once you did so much work, your mind becomes clouded. And it'll make that activity you're working on just that much harder. Sometimes it's time to stop and return to it fresh. So I was trying to tell my bro yesterday, yeah, let's just get back to it in the morning, where we got all our juices with us, brains ready, going, boom, we could get in there, we start knocking things out in no time. Your mind is processing easier, because we're giving ourselves that rest. So the rest part is very important. And resting when you know you need it versus, oh, I can't take off today because I got to take care of this, that, and the third, and now I'm going to have to put in overtime and all this. Man, no, you don't. No, you don't. You really believe you got to put in overtime to make up some ish? No, you don't, dog. I ain't never had to put in overtime. Bro, I'm telling you, that is my testimony. Maybe it's not like that for everybody, but I don't know where everybody's faith is at when it comes to those type of things. But I can tell you, from a testimony from me to y'all, I'm one of those people that can attest that, dog, the Lord has done so much for me. And I'm not saying like it's the material things is not that important to me, right? Yes, we need things, and there's necessities, but God, he been giving me things that I wanted, bruh. You know how Philippians 4:19 says he'll supply all your needs? Well, I'm like, where are the scriptures that for certain people he's supplying what their wants? Because it's almost like everything that I ever asked him for, he gave it to me. And it didn't take months or years. Sometimes it didn't even take weeks. I'm telling you, yo. I'm telling you. When the Lord wants to bless his, man, he show up like that, man. I'm talking about a few days. Few days. It's like, oh, you've been approved for this. Oh, you've been approved for that. Oh, you've been approved. Dog, I don't even know what my credit is. I ain't gonna sit here and say that I got the best credit. But it would look like it. Because I could get anything I want. And I feel like I know this. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy because it's like when this thing denies you, sometimes you'll be denied twice. I'm telling you, listen. But that's the part of keep going and keep having the faith too. Because in this process, when you're going for these things, and sometimes you may not be approved for it right away, right? But I think sometimes those are just tests as well. And sometimes I'll be the one that's going for it too. Like, man, nah. I know it's got to be something behind it. So I'm going to try again. And I try again. Boom, I get denied again. I'm like, nah. That had to be the devil twice. I try again. Boom. You talk about third time the charm. So I feel like every time there was a particular time where I was denied a certain thing, it was on that third time. And a lot of times, it wasn't the same places. I was ushered to somewhere new, a different opportunity, a different place, where on the very first time, you're approved. Like, yo, sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes he want to see how much resources you're going to utilize. Utilize the resources. I'm telling you, look, you got things out there, like if you're having problems with your bills, go to Catholic Charities. If you're having problems with your bills, look on the back of the bill and look at the places that can help you out. Stop thinking like, oh my God, I got to catch up on this bill. You got an $800 some electric bill. You trying to figure out how much you could put to it. But if you read the back of that paper, it show you these places that's on there. You call them one time, you will never know how easy it is for you to walk your behind up there. It takes you literally at 1 hour. And you just made $800 an hour by signing some papers. And all of a sudden, bam, they just took care of the whole $800 for you and your next month. You're like, yo, why is it that I haven't paid my electric in 3 months? I remember going to this place, but then they put you on some old account schedule where they took care of your next 3 months too. You ain't even know it. So here you are looking to pay a bill on the month after that, the month after that, and the month after that, and they all paid? Bro, y'all better start doing your homework. The resources is out here. And if you constantly thinking you gotta do everything when you in turmoil and in hard times, and you thinking you gotta do everything to get out of that, yo, you doing too much. You're doing too much. It's time to let go and let God. It's time to start listening to certain valuable information, because that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to pass you on this. Therefore, because I don't know who's going through what, but these are definitely the things that you can utilize. And when you start utilizing these sources, you'll realize God is He's going to usher you to the right places, the right people, places, and things that before you know it, you're going to be like, wow, I never even knew this. Some of these things might run you right into a grant, giving you more than you even asked for. Dog, most of the times, that's what it does. So if you just realize, move on, utilize the resources. See what I'm saying? Like I said, just like college, utilize the resources because they're there to help you. And everybody don't do these things. They don't. They're getting like, they don't believe it. They don't even have enough faith that what they tell you on the back of your bills and places that you go, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to be waiting months for that. No, you know you're not. If you got an emergency letter and you take it to them, those people will take care of that bill for you in 2 days. I'm just giving you all the tips. So check out the Catholic Charities. Check out any of the churches that do this. Check out the centers, because they have certain centers in certain places and stuff like that. And this is just for people who, if you ever get stumped with like your bills or your utilities or even your mortgage, dog, there's always somewhere out there where they can help you. So hopefully on the financial aspect of things, you ain't stomping yourself or that. And guess what? All of these places, you can utilize them every single year. And some places let you do it twice a year. Some might let you do it 3 times a year. Sometimes it's once a year. But guess what? They got other different places. You could use this once a year, that once a year, that once a year. Boom. There's people, if you could create a schedule, you would realize you'd be barely having to pay those utilities and stuff like that. I'm just letting you know, because I've done it. I've done it over and over, because a lot of times in my winter season, where I really usually don't work for like 5 months, usually I got a power wash company, we store up, we stack up everything that we make in the summertime, and that's usually enough to get you through the whole winter. But sometimes it don't be like that, and sometimes you still got this bread and you're trying to spread it out like, man, I got these many months met. So you want to hold on to that and still utilize them sources anyway. Stop trying to think you got to do everything. Because if they'll allow you to use it, you'll know if God set that out for you to be able to get that money or those funds or whatever, because he's going to allow you to get it. And if he don't allow you to get it, that means whatever change you got stored up over here, that's what you're going to use. But just know that you ain't never going to have to run yourself in the ground trying to get this money. Anything that it is that you need, you just pray to him for it. Stop trying to do all this stuff on your own. I'm telling you, stop trying to do all this stuff on your own, because he'll make it happen for you, especially if you're committed to doing his will. And I feel like that's why God has been doing those things for me. So if you're doing and you're committed to do his will, he'll bless you with more than you can even be able to receive. Your smile is going to be like the Grinch. It's going to be ear to ear. It's going to be ear to ear when you start receiving those things. And these ain't the sentimental things. These are the physical things. And a lot of times it's material things. But I can't sit here and tell you that God don't bless you with material things, because he definitely does. I know it's him, because it's unbelievable. I'm telling you, in my life of what I've seen for what he's been doing to me, sometimes I'll tell God, be like, Lord, please, like, I'm going to come back to you saying I need this, that, and the third. He still be doing it. But I've already asked him, like, Lord, stop just giving me stuff. Give me the things that are asked of that's sentimental value. Lord, it's like he don't give you them things. But if you ask him for something that's physical, you'll realize, I don't know where your faith is at, but he will shower you with gifts. And I feel like that's how I know that the Lord really loves me, man. That's how I know. I know he really loves me, because nobody did this for me, not even myself, dog. I'm trying to tell you, man. Everything from my house, bro, I wouldn't have been able to do any. I'm trying to tell you the truth right now. My pockets of what I make and doing that, when I look at what I have, it don't add up at all, dog. That's why a lot of people be thinking I got it like they think I'm rich. I am in spirit, because whenever I went, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you, man. But at the end of the day, like, you never know what you'll have tomorrow, because God is still sitting there waiting to bless you. I don't know what he want to bless me with next. I'm at the point where I could care less about any more material things, bro. You feel me? I would like to have certain things fixed, get my bike fixed, stuff like that. He know I got that. He know if I ask him to help me out with it, it's a done deal. And I feel like he comes through for me like that. And I know if he'll do that for me, and I ain't walking this earth perfect or nothing. I have my faults. I have my mistakes here and there. But I'm still committed to do his will. And y'all know what part of that will is. I'm telling you, he know what he called me for. And because I fessed up to understand what he's saying in that book about this war and his real will, I feel like that's the reason why he be blessing me the way he be doing. I'm not afraid to get up here and tell you what we really actually got to do out here, dog. And it's a battle, bro. It's a physical, it's a real battle coming at the end of the day, right? He needs somebody to tell these people that, so everybody ain't thinking this is just gonna be spiritual. You feel me? So why is he blessing me then, right? Why is he blessing me so? I'm telling you, dog. You wouldn't know unless you was living my life, bro. I'm telling you. I ain't gonna say I don't make that much money, but for a year, bro, I only work like 8 months out of the year, and when I do work, it's like tops 20 hours a week, bro. You feel me? How do I have all that? I know how I got all that. Everything that I have, I prayed for, and he gave it to me just like that, bro. So I can't make this up, bro. I can't make this up, man. So that's my testimony for the day. It was good chatting with y'all and everything. It's about time to get here and get this work for the day. But just remember, if you build it, they will come. Keep it moving. Don't get stuck in that situation that makes you feel like it's turmoil, because if you stay in there too long trying to fight these things on your own, you're going to become discouraged, and then it's going to lead you into a season of discouragement. So till next time, it's your boy Don Illuminati. Peace and one love.